not disrespectful. Now I'm moving forward to the second part of the book, which is dedicated to my husband. And this one is called September 2004. Early spring, and we take a stroll. You no longer stride ahead, leading the way. A rest on the park bench, your back to sun's warmth, eyes closed, the sharpness of light. Smile, I say, lifting the camera. A wry grin, not caught on film, but fixed in my memory. Behind you a wattle explodes. Its limbs bend under the weight, seem near to breaking point. A slow walk home. You study our neighbours' gardens as if seeing them for the last time. And the next poem is just about a month later. Coffee for one on the terrace. Under the shadow of a plane so quickly out of sight, I think of Icarus, someone's golden boy, and then you come to mind as if you had never gone away. Weeks in intensive care, isolated, intubated, your chest falling and rising, lungs inflated by machine, your eyes closed against the struggle of it all. I'd furnish you with fabulous wings, fly your way, and flesh warmed by benevolent sun, we'd take coffee on the terrace. And the next one is called Signs, and I have a granddaughter who is profoundly deaf.
I think a lot of emotional context is stored in objects. So, first one I want to do is called Other Objects. My wedding ring is a plain silver barrel band, same as Dad's. Very modest, very hard to keep smooth, with scratches I can't keep track of and don't want to hide. It's no good pretending the marriage is perfect. No use hanging all our memories and every step of the future on just one symbol. Other objects speak of love too. The weeping maple we've shifted to every house, the cup we fill with knives and forks, or the handwritten address you gave me the night we met, walking the city and flinging orange peel into the hedges. Things that endure, things that have the lines and marks to prove them. Spent a few years sort of landlocked in a town fairly distant from the sea, and it bugged me after a few years. And so this poem came about. It's called Beached. So I do miss the sea. It's taken nearly 3 years to figure it out. Landlocked in a kind of dust, the pillow's thirst, and thinking often of seagulls doing everything they can to ruin a lunch of salty chips and packet sauce. I even think about cuttlefish surfing the afterlife and tiger shells that always seemed worth collecting on school trips, or the tide murmuring at night, afraid of foam warring with the shore. If anyone is a jazz fan, you'll probably get this reference, I guess. It's called Bitches Brew. Words drove him through the ashtray hills, rolling by half-flame spirits robed in holy blue. He was worried, the liar, his golden arms unwrapping leather straps around the mule, hands, anchors, cities, blood red in bottles of midnight, sipping the smog and ladies' perfume, skyline of Panther's Ark. Sometimes he went up, swirling with the wish-wash of hallucination, stars cracking into each other like marbles hurled by swollen knuckles. Once, at the gate, bragging about loneliness, he made a bow out of blue ribbon and hung it above a headstone, murmuring to the wind.
But I just keep exploiting my children and writing more and more poems about them. This is the last one I wrote about my daughter in Between the Dancing, but in my next collection I have the sequel to this poem, Watching Her Go. All month we have been at each other, and the month before that, the two of us stalking it out through muck-up day, after parties, SWAT vac, exams, the long wait, adjusting to shifting territories. And then the results come in. Co-joined hands clutch your phone. We stare at the screen, faces wedged, We scroll through numbers. You're in and you're hugging me as if I had given birth to this moment. All week you are bouncing, talking through possibilities, seeing yourself strolling about Melbourne Uni like a fresher in an American sitcom. Friends loop around you. Your laptop swings along beside your hip. Back and forth we fast train it to the city, harnessed together with your MP3 player. The killers beat it out as we hurtle across paddocks, flash past station after station, queue for a city platform. We do coffee in Burke Street, De Grey Street, Flinders Lane. You check out job prospects. I watch you fill out forms, complete course entry, learn tram routes, find a place to live somewhere else. And the next poem is a bit of a winter poem called Since. It is this day that separates the year into what was before and what is to come. The first walk is taken like a pilgrimage, the setting out into it, crackling of frost, bracing against the bite and the damp of it. Pairs of crystallised rubbish bins rise out of the streetscape of thick wet. Cars with their new thin skins line the driveways. Racks of airing clothes are framed by north-facing windows. I bypass the sporting fields, circumnavigating these pools of mist till I reach the asphalt path, its black surface stencilled with leaves, as vivid and precise as haiku. In the creek, teepees of twigs trap shards of ice. Reeds dip under their new weight. The nursery glow of the morning highlights the silhouette of trees. Paddocks sizzle with steam. Back inside, I am all tingle and virtue. In front of the heater, gloves, scarf, hat, coat are laid out like vestments. This day marks the year like a death or a new love, measuring life into before and since, except that the short span of since threatens to topple over into everything.
This is called VX65595, which is the number from my uncle's tickets. My uncle's dog tags, for many years not lost, just unfound, as Hardy might have said, turned up the other day in his Havelock tobacco tin, 2 numbered metal discs strung on thick brown string. My dead meat tickets is what he liked to call them, so known when dead. A humbling arrangement for a poet, yet uncoffined, unknown and unregarded, nearly died to be read. Another, I think, a bit of heavy war theme I've got here. This one is Chalk Dust. I had good fortune with this poem. It got to the attention of Peter Cundall, who has recorded it recently on this ABC CD. Peter Cundall reads war poetry. That's a misnomer. Peter Cundall reads anti-poetry. And I think it is on. Wilfred Owen, Siegfried Sassoon, Kenneth Slessor, Thomas Hardy, Denise Levertov, Walt Whitman, Bruce Dorr, Herbert Reed, Wilfred Gibson and more. On board. Justifiably so. This is called Chalk Dust. It's homage to some of my teachers. I think Peter was looking for a poem that linked the Second World War with current events, which he, like me, thoroughly disagreed. Chalk Dust. The men of many dead friends. Returned men who wrote with chalk on blackboards in red brick schools. Hands fluttering like their ribbons on Anzac Day. Souls crimped and curved by barbed wire. Ducking when cars backfire. Refusing to eat rice. And boring us with homilies ransomed from experiences unspeakable. Rights of man, presumption of innocence, fair trials. As if these were commandments, chiselled into tablets of granite, not scratched with chalk, so carelessly erased and blown, just dust on errant winds across the tortured faces of the earth, the thriving orchards of headstones, the cages by the Caribbean Sea.